So it is Tuesday, September 15th, and I still cannot find the link for the Andrew Gillum interview with Tamaron Hall. And I feel like a lot of other people at this moment, I'm just like, geez, where is that interview? And I know it premiered on TV, and it's so much better when you're actually able to watch a video on your computer or on your phone, and you're able to like look at a few things again and study body language and analyze words and interpret certain statements. And it's like, oh, I can't do that right now. But I'm looking at the highlights like everybody is at this point. And nothing is going to change the fact that the biggest takeaway from that interview ultimately is Andrew Gillum coming out as bisexual.
The truth is that, Tamaron, everyone believes the absolute worst about that day. At this stage, I don't have anything else to have to conceal. I literally got broken down to my most bare place, to the place where I wasn't even sure that I wanted to live, not because of what I had done, but because of everything that was being said about me. What was most hurtful was this belief that I was somehow living a lie in my marriage and in my family. That was the most hurtful to me because I believe we're all entitled to mistakes. And I believe we're entitled to those mistakes without having every other respectable and redeeming part of our lives invalidated. And I felt like the love that I have between my wife and I, my family, but most important, the authenticity that I've tried to lead with was all in question at this point. And not even in question anymore. Something else had been assumed by that. And to be very honest with you, when you didn't ask the question, you put it out there, is whether or not I identify as gay. And the answer is, I don't identify as gay, but I do identify as bisexual. And that is something that I have never shared publicly before.
He's not gay, but he is bisexual. Now, everybody knows pretty much what happened. Andrew Gillum back in March 2020, and it feels like this happened a year ago. Time is doing its thing. He was found in a hotel, passed out, inebriated, had been doing drugs. He was laying in his vomit. He was unclothed. He had been interacting and intimate with men. And so, he makes a statement, goes into rehab. He lays low for a bit. And then September 2020 comes about, and he does an interview with Tamaron Hall where he recounts the night, what happened. And he expressed why he went into that room to do those activities. And he felt like he was exploited. And he said he cried every day over the shame that came from what happened. But again, the biggest takeaway is Andrew Gillum coming out as bisexual. And his wife supports him, and she says she's known that he's been bisexual for over 20 years. And that, you should act as a covenant in a relationship. And they both spoke about how there's couples that's going through circumstances just like they are. I'm going to touch a little bit more later on RJ, his wife, knowing that he was bisexual, because I do not believe that. But again, we're going to go into that a little bit later. But looking at the Andrew Gillum situation, it really makes me think about people that are in relationships that have unmet needs and desires, and how when their needs and desires are not met, it can become the downfall of a relationship. When people go out and cheat, the other person has so many questions, and they're so lost, and they're so devastated. You're just like, what happened? What did I do? What can I be better? How can I be better? Like, what happened? I thought everything was fine. And the other person can say, hey, we weren't having enough intimacy, or you weren't cooking and cleaning enough, or I was tired of the fighting, or I'm not attracted to you anymore. And nobody wants to hear any of those things, because in some cases, that person is trying their best. And in other cases, nobody's communicating, so they're just letting everything fall apart. But my thing is, I believe that, it can be deeper than just what the other person's not doing or what's lacking. I believe that when somebody's needs and desires are not met and they go into the relationship not communicating and talking to the other person about themselves, like really giving themselves to that person or letting them know what they like for real, it causes things to fall apart. And I know some people are scared to surrender themselves to another person because nobody wants to be heartbroken. Nobody wants to be so vulnerable that when their relationship falls apart or they break up, that other person puts them on blast. And you have to find that gentle balance, because relationships are supposed to be sacred. You're supposed to be as one. You're supposed to share your life and your space with that person. But again, how do you come to that common grounds where that the one person in that relationship is not going outside of that relationship to get what they want because they're ashamed that their partner is not going to be able to give it to them, or they feel like that person is going to put them on blast? Like how do you get to that common ground? So I'm going to talk about the state of relationships and how I see them these days. And then I'm going to move into unmet needs in relationships. And then I'm going to pull everything in together, and I'm going to talk in detail about the Andrew Gillum situation. So, I've been looking at a lot of relationships these days, and it's been pretty rough in terms of what's going on. And this is in regards to the celebrity world, like in the spotlight. There's a lot of people, getting divorced, or they're separating, or they're having their trials and tribulations and fights. And it's very unfortunate, especially since when March 2020 came around and everything hit, people were just like, okay, look, I'm done with this person, or look, I can't take it anymore. Okay, we breaking up. Okay, we back together. Like, for instance, let's look at Tracy Morgan and his wife, Megan Wolford. Like, they're getting a divorce, and he doesn't even want this woman to have his last name. Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith that had to come to the red table after August Alsina put it out there that him and Jada were in a relationship, and Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith said, we were going through a rough patch, and we have had our downfalls and our good times. It's bad marriage for life. My God. But anyway, Emmett and Pat Smith, they're getting a divorce. And shout out to Jada Black on YouTube. He expressed that, Pat Smith seemed like she wanted to be in the spotlight and be in the forefront of the relationship. And how is that even possible when Emmitt Smith is Emmitt Smith, like NFL legend, Dallas Cowboys Emmitt Smith. And Pat Smith is a very beautiful woman, but I'm sorry, your beauty can't override the person that you're with. So thus and therefore, things fall apart. And now here we are at divorce. Now you have also Dr. Dre and Nicole Young, who are getting divorced after 24 years of marriage. And this woman is asking for nearly $2 million in temporary monthly spousal support, which is mind-blowing. But I guess she feels entitled, and she feels like she knows where the bones are buried. So she just like, pay me for my pain, give me my things. But I'm also hoping that before that gavel hits, that the amount goes down for that monthly spousal support. Now, you also have Neo and Crystal Smith. Okay, so they jumped out and then jumped in. They're like, oh, we're getting divorced. And they're like, oh, we're not getting divorced. And it's like, first of all, let your yes be your yes and your no be your no. Second of all, you need to know for sure, are you getting a divorce? Other than that, leave us alone. Now, I'm glad they stayed together. That's great. But however, I need y'all to know what's going on with y'all before you talk to us. Then in the spiritual world, you have John and Aventer Gray, who are going through their marital problems. Now, John Gray has cheated on Aventer multiple times. Okay, multiple times. And they're finding their ways to work it out. Many people think that they should step down. I think Aventer should realize the red flags and make a hard decision to maybe separate herself from John Gray. But look, I'm not judging them, and I can't tell them what to do because that's not my marriage. However, moving on. Now, You also have Cardi B and Offset that are getting divorced, and this is new information to us, but we were just waiting to see when it was going to happen. We just did not know. And it took all of this probably quarantine, all of this happening for her to say, you know what, I'm done. I believe Cardi B deserves better. I think Offset needs to get himself together. He does not deserve her. I'm sorry. You also have Ray J and Princess Love, I think that's her name, and they're getting a divorce, and they've been playing tennis with their divorce filings. It's like, oh, Princess went first. Oh, now Ray J. I'm like, yo, I hope y'all are done, because y'all gonna stop playing with us and bothering us if you don't know whether you want to be together or not. Now, and just looking at all the celebrity relationships and all of their issues, you have people in everyday life that are getting divorced and separated and fighting and yelling and destroying their homes and destroying their children and going through their trials and tribulations, ups and down, and they're down again. It's happening every day, B. Okay? It's happening. But my thing is why are people having so much troubles in their marriage and their partnerships and their relationships? Like, why is this taking place? And it's happening more than ever. Divorce rate higher than ever. You have your domestic violence cases higher than ever, skyrocketing at this time. What is happening? And one thing that I can observe is that when you do not have a strong foundation and basis for your marriage, things are subject to fall apart. It's like, are you building your marriage on straws or on cement? Which one is subject to last better? A house divided will fall. Now, I believe that relationships can work. I believe that they can work for the long run. I believe that it definitely can work, because, you know, there are people that are getting divorced after a short period of time, and there's people getting divorced after a long period of time. But let me tell you, when you get into relationships for the wrong reasons, you are destined to fail. When you're getting into relationships for meals and money and clothes and shoes and jewelry and for intimacy and for a place to stay. And when you rebound and you don't have time to breathe after your breakups, like, that hurts either one of the people in the relationship. And you could be seen as supply and the other person could be seen as a narcissist, and they put you through the process of love bombing, devaluing, and discarding, and it happens over and over again, and somebody gets damaged and hurt, and they have to make that decision to get off of that hamster wheel. And that is a horrible process to be a part of. And this is all a part of getting into relationships for the wrong reason. So now, with relationship, it takes time to get to the point where you need it to be. Okay, relationships are not microwave dinners where you pop them in the microwave, beep, okay, we done. No. Relationships are like Sunday dinners, slow cooked meals in the cooker, like taking time and cutting things and stirring things with love. Like, that's how you develop a relationship. So you'll see some people that are married for 20, 30, and 40 years. You're just like, oh my gosh, how did you get to that point? Look, it took time. Nothing was quick and fast and in a hurry. Like, we made this thing work. We might have burnt the food a couple times, but everything came out right and we cruising. You know, it's all about who you find as your companion. That's very important. It's like having a lock and a key and everything working together. If you have a key that goes in a lock and it doesn't open, it's the wrong key, right? So imagine finding the wrong person. So you have to find somebody you're compatible with, somebody you can grow and develop with, someone you can share your time with, share your space with. Someone you're willing to develop a relationship with that fits for you too, that's good for you. Because if you look at society, they're going to give you guidelines as to how your relationship should be. how you need to raise your kids, manage your finances, your living space, your car situation, your job, your career. No, you do what's best for you, so your relationship thrives and grows. Because if you look at the template for others, you're subject to fail, because that may not work for you and the personalities and the desires and the goals of your relationship. So yeah, let me tell you something. First of all, there are people that are married or just in regular relationships that don't live together. There are people that raise their children a certain way. There's people that have separate accounts. They don't have joint accounts. There's people that are married that live in different states, that function and have long distance relationships. There are people that practice having space with each other. There are people that are in relationships that are like, yo, I want you to maintain yourself in a certain way. There are people that it's almost like having an accountability partner, not putting the pressure on the other person to be a certain way, but it's like, baby, I'm gonna take accountability for you. You go take accountability for me. So let's make sure we keep each other up, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and they have their own way of doing it. Let me say it like that. But it works for them. So their relationship is on a good path because they're going at their own, they're beating at their own drum. So we have these relationships that are falling apart, and it's because, again, the right person is not being selected for them to be with. And you have to think about the fact, when I get with this person, am I making them happy? Are we on the same wavelength? Do we want the same thing? Are we seeing life in the right way? Is this person loving me the right way? And the biggest thing is this person going to help me meet my needs? Now, we all are individuals. And yes, you can have two halves to make one for a relationship. But because that other person is in your space, they're in your life, you're sharing so much together, you want that person to meet your need. There's some things you just can't do by yourself when you're with somebody, in order to help you meet that need. But that need, and also desire, can be a mystery. It can be untold when you're not communicating with the other person. So I want to explore Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And he did research as a psychologist and discovered that as human beings, we have 5 basic needs that we are seeking in a particular order. And we're trying to, in every way, fulfill our needs on a daily basis. Okay? So the first need that we try to achieve is physiological needs. That's the air, water, shelter, food, sleep, clothing, reproduction, things of that nature. We're trying to fulfill that need first before anything else. And then the next need that we try to fulfill is safety needs. So this is our personal security. This is employment. This is resources. Like trying to get money. The next need that we try to fulfill is love and belongings. So that is developing friendships and interacting with family and loving our partner, finding love, or being intimate. Then the next order that we will try to achieve, or the next need, is esteem. So this is respect and self-esteem and recognition, feeling good about yourself. And then the last need that we will try to achieve is the desire to, self-actualization. So this is the desire to become the most that we can be. This is self-fulfillment. This is reaching our full potential. When you get with a partner or you build or develop a family, your desires to get these needs, they upgrade. You have more motivation to do it. It's subject to change. But regardless, you're going in that order to get these needs. So it's like, yeah, you want to feel safe, but you need food and water before you harm yourself or pass out. Or,
yeah, you want to be loved, but if you don't have any shelter, you know, you're not going to feel secure. Like it's just a hybrid, and trying to meet those needs. But just imagine if you're someone like Andrew Gillum and your physiological needs are met, your safety needs are met, your love and belonging needs are met, your esteem is met, but you're not able to achieve that level of self-actualization. So here you are, you can't reach that level of self-fulfillment. You can't reach your full potential. You can't be that bisexual man that you want to be. So you struggle and you suffer. And so does your wife and your family. Imagine how people fight when they can't get food and air. Like that's their main priority. That's their main need. They don't need love. They need food. They need air. They need water. Then that's met. And then they fight on the next level. They're trying to get it. I don't have any security. I don't have any employment. So I'm trying to find a job. Imagine people fighting on each level to get to where they need to be, to meet their needs. Think of our poverty rate, our homeless rate. Think of the people that don't have any love, don't have any family. People are going in this particular order based on this theory, and I believe it's true, that they're trying to meet these needs. But again, if Andrew Gillum has all of the other four needs and he can't be fulfilled, then again, he's fighting to meet that need. And that may require him going outside of his relationship. And then that he did.
You've said that you would not have married him if you knew that
I wasn't sure. That a decision to choose you and say yes on the basis of knowing that it's our decision together as all couples, you know, millions of people watching, that we don't know you. We don't know your stories. I mean, there are couples who have open marriages. There are couples who all kind of different covenants with one another that everybody else doesn't know. And at the point where you have to reveal your covenant to the world to then be criticized or questioned with good intentions or bad, that's a lot of pressure. And so I've told him before that, you know, saying yes was solely about me and you. It wasn't about me, you, and the world. So I don't know. You know, someone has asked me before, would you have made a different decision? And I had to say, I don't know. I think perhaps being as young as we were, you know, I wasn't even 30 yet, I may have said no, because at that age, I know I wouldn't have had the maturity to say, while I am privately okay with this, I don't know that I have the strength to continually defend my relationship or my marriage to anyone who doesn't understand.
So let's think about people that come into relationships and they have secret fetishes, they have untold desires, untold stories, they have little hobbies that they do, but they don't tell their partner. They watch little shows and stuff on the low, but they don't tell their partner. Really. People have certain addictions and they definitely don't tell their partner. They might have little things that they like, certain things about a person that they like, but they don't tell their partner. And then their partner doesn't have it as well. That becomes an issue. That you have people that most of all are hiding something about their sexuality from their partner. And so when you don't tell your partner because you're ashamed or embarrassed, that becomes an issue. That becomes an issue in a sense where you are putting the other person on the path to suffering because they don't know what your needs are, don't know what your desires are. You're hiding it from them. So you're going outside of the relationship to get what you want. Like, man, I can't tell my wife that I like, you know, little people. I can't tell my wife that I'm doing this. Or I can't tell my wife I have a foot fetish. Or I can't tell my husband that, I like to collect coins or something weird or whatever. I don't know. That's not weird, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't come out and just tell your partner certain things because you're just like, wow, they're going to disown me. They're going to be ashamed of me. And there's some people that really love their partner, but they can't be open. And then you have some people that are using other people as a placeholder. That person is just occupying a space in their life because they want somebody that can help take care of them. Again, going into relationships for the wrong reasons. So when you're going outside the relationship to get what you want, that's you trying to fulfill yourself. Because if you don't, you'll feel suppressed. Or you'll feel like you're suffocating. Just like Andrew Gillum said he was. He said he felt like he was suffocating because he wasn't out as a bisexual man. His wife said that she knew that he was bisexual. I do not believe that. I believe that they fought behind closed doors. They had it out, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of crying over what he did. There have been talks of Andrew Gillum dealing with men since his college days. That's 20 years ago. And she said she knew 20 years ago. So to piece everything together, like, okay, so people knew since 20 years ago that Andrew Gillum was into men, so you happen to also know? I don't think she knew. I think she found this out. And again, there are a lot of couples that deal with this. They're fine with this. They've managed everything. It's cool. They know what the other partner likes. But again, I don't think his wife knew. And this was new for us, like it was new for her. And so, yeah, he really suffocated himself. But that might be an explanation of why he was doing the drugs and drinking the alcohol, because he could not be his full self. When it comes to bisexuality, it becomes a very tricky thing. If you are a man and you have a wife, but you're attracted to men, your wife is not going to be able to give you what the man can give you. So you're going to go outside of your marriage to meet that need to be who you would like to be, to reach your full potential, to get that fulfillment of being with a man, because your wife can't do it for you. And it's not her fault, but the thing that really makes things bad is when she doesn't know about it. Let's look at another scenario. Like, if you're a woman and you love dragons and you've always been fascinated by dragons and you just cannot tell your partner that you like dragons, and you go to these shows where they, glorify dragons, or you go to Comic-Con or something like that, and you feel like you're in absolute heaven and you can't tell him, like, you'll wake up one day and be like, I saw you on the internet. I saw you at an event. Why didn't you tell? I know that sounds like really weird and really dumb to even say, but like, there's really people that are hiding things like that from their partner. You might have a man that has a foot fetish, and it's a bad foot fetish. Like, he loves feet, and he's all on the websites. He's at different girls' houses and all this stuff, into feet. And you don't know about this. And you find out about it. And it is World War III at your house, because he is cheating on you, and he's on a different website, and he's breaking the bank over his foot fetish. Again, people going outside of their relationship to achieve self-fulfillment. But they do it in a way where, they hurt themselves. They hurt their partner. So it's very important that you know that when you're with someone, that person's not going to be 100% themselves. They can maybe be 90% or maybe 80%. And that's good, because there's some people that's not even giving 50% of themselves. Again, when you are growing and living and sharing space with someone, that's a lot. You grow with that person. You should get to know them. And I can understand being scared to give 100% of yourself to someone, because again, you're afraid that if you let your guard down, that they will put you out there, they will laugh at you. And that's the worst thing to go through, to be embarrassed because you chose to be vulnerable. But again, you have to find that balance. But it's just awful when the other person gets hurt and they suffer financially, spiritually, psychologically, emotionally, mentally. You destroy people's lives. So, a couple of key things here in being in relationships and making things work, and also seeking to understand seeking to understand the needs and desires of other people. Like, it's very important to, first of all, understand yourself. And when you understand yourself, you become comfortable with yourself, and it helps you to work better and interact with others, you know? Do your research. And I'm not going to go into detail as to how you should do your research, but it's important that you know about the person that you're sleeping with. And when you find out certain things, you know what? There's some people that don't give up on or say, I'm going to throw this person out because they know this person has been in jail or they know they've had a rough past. You can work with this person, but you don't want to hide anything. You don't want that person to hide anything from you. But again, do your research. Use your discernment. Discernment is important. That spirit, that notion, that belief, that gut feeling, you have to go with it. Because discernment can help you to live another day. It can help you to see tomorrow. There are some people that don't use their discernment and don't activate their discernment, and they're gone from this earth. Believe it or not, it goes that far. So know what you are getting into, but use your discernment. Set up your relationships the way you want your relationship to be, not how society wants it to be. Again, you live the way you want to, and don't let nobody tell you, well, y'all not living together. So, hey, look, that's none of your business. The way you run your intimate life is nobody's business. It's for how you want to do it. The places you go, the things you do, how you raise your kids, that's your business, but do it for your relationship. Maybe don't tell other people how you do it, because they're going to judge you and laugh at you. It could be 100 people that say, no, we don't do it like this, but the way you do it for your relationship, if it works and it allows you to have 10, 20, 30 years in the game of being married, then hey, why not do it? So make sure that you are sitting down and talking and having conversations with your partner. And being guarded with your heart, but just explore them, understand their life, and seek to build trust with that person. You know, there's people that get in relationships and they break up and then they're friends and everything is cool afterwards. For some people, it's not like that. Like, they're ready to destroy that person's life. But get to the point where, you know, if you guys were to break up, that there would be no bad blood. That you know that you guys can go your separate ways and maybe give each other a call. Just know that everything will be okay. But again, find that gentle balance where you can kind of learn how to give yourself. It's hard, y'all. It's really hard. But I do want to say that I feel like with Andrew Gillum, I feel like he did not win that race for governor for a reason. I mean, he lost by a very small percentage to, was it Ron DeSantis? And I feel like if Andrew Gillum had won that race for governor and that situation would have happened, he that would have been his ultimate demise. Like, that would have definitely crushed him. That would have hurt him badly. But he needed to lose that race in order for this moment to happen. In order for him to face himself and face the world in regards to his situation. In order for him to come out. It's and the question that Tamaron Hall asked is, I think she asked, will you be able to go into politics again? It's basically like, where do we go from here? And he still wants to go into politics.
Andrew, if you decided to go back into politics, do you believe that you could re-enter and possibly even be an elected official again one day?
I do, if I put my mind to that. There is not a thing that has happened in my life, scandalous or not, to cause me to believe that if I have service to give an elected office as a means in order to render that I couldn't do that. Now, would it be hard? Absolutely. But Donald Trump is president. You got elected officials who are on tape, not inebriated and passed out and taken advantage of, but folks who are literally voluntarily, terrorizing people's lives, and it's captured on video, and they wear it as a symbol of pride.
I don't know if he can run for office from a large platform. It would probably have to be from a local level, because we don't want to put his intelligence and knowledge to waste. Andrew Gillum is a very smart man. He just happens to be caught up in a bad situation. And that goes for anybody. If you have the knowledge and you have the power, but you're not a crook and conniving, maybe we can try again, but from a different standpoint. So to kind of wrap up this video, in conclusion, Andrew Gillum has been living a life where he has not been reaching his highest order of need, which is self-actualization. He went outside of his relationship in order to achieve self-fulfillment, and it ultimately exploited him. And his wife said that she knew about his sexuality, but I do not believe that. But she said it. But if he was open with his wife, I mean, do you think he would have trusted her enough to withhold that information? Do you think their relationship would have worked early on? Do you think it would have even happened? So, guys, know who you're dealing with. Carefully select your partner. When you're in your singleness and time of, getting yourself together, and time of self-reflection, and when you're not with anybody, like, please use that time to get yourself together, to get to know yourself, so you can have a prosperous relationship with someone. So, guys, tell me how you feel about this whole Andrew Gillum situation and people that are in relationships that are not getting their needs met. Like, how do you feel about that? You guys leave your comments and your thoughts below. Take care.